And this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And like I promised, I would go live for this. I just released the condition of Oleksandr Usyk. So when you guys feel free, go check that out. It's supposed to have been out already. I timed it wrong or whatever. I hate that. But they are now talking about actually, these are the endorsees of the fight between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. This is the first press conference. This is launching it, kicking it off. When you guys come in, hit that like button. They're just showing you guys the backstory, the advertisers, so to speak, the people with the money. They have to show the love first to them because they are the ones putting on the show. Okay, and now Usyk and Joshua, they're there, but they're not on stage yet. So I might as well get a nice little head start on these guys. Chick Chicarelli, yo baby, good morning. Counterpunch to you, brother. Counterpunch to you, Chick.
So I hope this makes more men and women get involved in boxing and generally sports, yeah, in general.
We have many like Russia today involved in boxing.
Yeah, she's a big guy there, yeah. Right. So that's
amazing.
good.
I believe that's Prince Khalid that's talking right now. So that's the guy. Remember, this is the same guy that Tyson Fury called. That he told Tyson Fury that, hey, we got the money, the fight will be set. You know, Daniel Crawford. Well, they should have the fighters out, but I'm wondering what's the holdup on the fighters. We got Prince Khalid, we got Eddie Hearn, but no fighters.
Well, firstly,
you know what I mean?
Great to be back.
Good question.
So many friends and familiar faces. I mean, 2019 seems like an eternity ago, and you're quite right to mention Prince Khalid, of course, a very dear
Lex
friend
Gaming,
of ours,
YT.
had a vision
That's Prince
for boxing,
Khalid.
and it was that vision that really enticed us to be here the first time around for Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz, the clash on the dunes. And I think it's amazing to see the growth of boxing here in the kingdom, especially bearing in mind COVID.
Lex Gaming.
And the effect that the pandemic
it's either
had on all
Joshua
sports,
by
because I think
knockout
the growth would have been
or
significantly higher.
Usyk
So
by decision,
it's
like it
stopped
was
us in the
before, because
tracks
we've
a
seen
little
it
bit,
before.
but to come back here now with a bigger fight,
Or by
of course,
stoppage.
the Unified World Heavyweight
Okay.
Championship, the Rage on the Red Sea.
And when I mean knockout, I mean KO. Joshua,
boxing. I think everybody's touched on.
For right now, I have to see more from Joshua. I have to see his body language or whatever. But
for the younger generation,
right now,
discipline and respect.
that's
and
how I'm looking.
Understanding about life.
That's
winning,
the projections.
Losing, being part of a team, playing as an individual, everything that sport can deliver for you. So for us, it's amazing to bring major sporting events to the kingdom, but it's also important that there's an investment and a belief within the sport at grassroots level. And that came from Khalid, and that was a big focus of his when we started this journey. And, whilst we want to bring the biggest fights to the kingdom, we also want to witness that growth, and we're seeing that through the numbers, and that's very pleasing.
Amazing. When you hear the ambition of the country that has Mr. Abdullah Habi mentioned, we want to get 500,000 people into boxing today. Tell us about how proud you are to partner with the kingdom for these events.
Well, very proud because, as I said, it's important to inspire the next generation. They need role models, they need heroes, they need to see the best of the best. So,
Kurt, we still got to spar,
to see
Absolutely.
Fighters like Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua.
Aren't you like 6'4", 190, something like that?
In the sport of boxing than the World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm down.
It doesn't get
Where you
bigger.
at?
So, for young people within the kingdom, they should be looking at these great fighters, these great athletes, and being inspired to start boxing. And starting boxing and walking through the doors of a boxing club is not just about wanting to be a professional boxer. It's about getting fit, getting healthy.
Brandon,
being
Kurt, early
strong in mind,
prediction
being
for
part of the
Joshua
team, being
Usyk
part of
too.
the community.
Usyk,
Like I said,
Joshua
boxing,
too.
For me, can be
just like
the
it
greatest
was
strength of a
Ruiz,
community
Joshua
to bring
too.
people together. So
That's how
it's
you
really
that's how you
growth.
present it.
One day we hope we're sitting here at a press conference for a Saudi world champion, looking to defend his titles. And if the growth continues, that will happen. But so good to see people out participating in sport, participating in the sport that we love, which is boxing. And we have our plans at Matchroom involves huge global growth and being part of the growth here in Saudi Arabia is very humbling.
Thank you so much, Eddie Hearn. Ladies and gentlemen, Matchroom Sports. Thank you to our panelists. It's almost time to meet the boxers. I now invite to the stage
the boxers.
Oleksandr,
Here we go.
K2 Management, Egis Klimas, manager of Oleksandr,
Egis Klimas.
Robert Garcia, trainer of Anthony Joshua. On stage, please.
Robert Garcia. Okay, they're bringing everybody out in like in sheets. You know what I mean?
The ebb and flow of the tides.
So
Advance.
we got the manager,
Retreat.
Egis Klimas.
Repeat.
Then we got the trainer,
With
Roberto
everything a
Garcia.
rematch can offer.
Like people taking a shift or something. Okay, it's your turn. Like, why don't
What was lost.
I never seen nothing like this?
What was won to be held tight. Traps resetting. Fight plans remade. More of the masterclass, or a whole new approach.
That 12th round, man. If you thought that AJ won that fight, you better watch the 12th round.
To Jeddah,
Because it was, you know, Joshua was trying to figure him out, which he
a city
couldn't.
of sun.
He was just faster. Joshua, you know, the punching power was there, but it really wasn't because of the tentativeness that he had.
Oleksandr Usyk.
But then again, you have to understand, if Joshua would have thrown these big looping punches, he would have looked like Canelo did against Mayweather. He would have looked like Canelo did against Lara in spots of that fight, swinging these looping punches. You saw some of that
Let's give them a round
with Joshua. Joshua was swinging these punches,
Welcome them on stage.
and they were just like, damn.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Miss.
joining us, the boxers and stars of the show.
Okay, great.
Starting with our challenger.
The former two-time heavyweight champion of the world. The challenger. AJ.
There is Anthony Joshua. I don't know if that's him walking from the outside. I don't think it would be. Let's hit that like button, guys. Rage on the Red Sea, people. There's AJ. Got his hat on with his earbuds. Damn, don't that A look like the Avengers logo? So we got Roberto Garcia is already there. Then AJ, he just took a seat.
Glad to have you with us, Anthony Joshua. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the defending champion.
And now, introducing the former
Colors of freedom.
undisputed
Usyk has his
cruiserweight
colors of
champion
freedom
the
on.
world, and the current unified IBO, IBF, WBA, and WBO heavyweight champion of the world,
19-0 with 13
Oleksandr
KOs.
Usyk.
You know, it's crazy because it's like you got a guy that done all that at cruiserweight, and look, went up there, had 3 fights at heavyweight, and I'll be damned, he still has only 19 fights. It's crazy. There is Usyk coming in with his vintage classic custom shirt. I think it's Janet. Got his Kango style LL Cool J hat on.
Great sportsmanship. Mr. Abdullah Al-Harbi and Mr. Eddie Hearn, please do join us on stage, please.
They're gonna throw Eddie's ass in the middle, y'all. He wanted to sit and just recline and kind of look at it
warmly
from afar.
welcomed to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Mr. Abdullah Al-Harbi. This has been one of the biggest moments in Saudi sports history and follows a growing list of international events that Jeddah has hosted. what does this mean to the kingdom to have another World Heavyweight Championship fight, and why were you so keen on securing this particular fight?
Under Vision 2030, today we see a lot of growth when it comes to the sports industry. With the patronage of His Royal Highness Crown Prince and his focus mainly on the youth of Saudi Arabia, being almost the majority of the people in Saudi Arabia, 60% are the youth, there is a massive focus going to be on sports. And with the leadership of the sports being spearheaded by Prince Abdulaziz bin Turkey, it's great to see these multiple events on different sports where it increases the mass participation for a lot of people within the economy. So having another sport, another event within boxing is going to just increase the numbers. And we're looking forward actually for a lot of people to get inspired by these two gentlemen here. And hopefully, as Eddie highlighted before, having a champion within Saudi that is going to be spearheading Saudi Arabia in the
you all
future
can
in the
see
pro boxing
of him,
division.
he's so far up.
Thank you so much. And after the increase of 300% in boxing participation after the crash of the dunes back in 2019, going from a
Rarely
few
get
gyms to
notifications.
multiple gyms today.
It's
what are your
YouTube, man.
plans to get
Welcome to YouTube.
500,000 people
Usyk
into
by
boxing in
TKO.
the next 4 years across the
Salute
kingdom
to
of
the
Saudi
channel,
Arabia?
my man.
Can you tell us briefly
Too
about
much
that?
love.
And that is going to be
Karma
the focus
Boxing,
for us,
MMA.
which is
Counter
ensuring
punch you,
that
brother.
with this number of multiple events that are going to be hosted within the kingdom, that it inspires a lot of people to start building their attribution within the sport of boxing, either be it on fitness boxing, either be it on participating in bouts. So we look forward actually for hosting multiple events, starting with the biggest event that we can actually have with the help of Matchroom and Skill Challenge. And hopefully that's not going to be it's only going to be the beginning, where we're going to have a lot of other bouts in the future.
Amazing, hopefully. And I would like to talk to the man who knows the boxers best today, a man who helped bring this fight, World Heavyweight Championship fight, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and has now returned, Mr. Eddie Hearn, chairman of Matchroom Boxing, as we introduced you before, back to the Kingdom, at this time to Jeddah. How does it feel? Feels good, right?
Feels fantastic, and a welcome, of course, to everyone here. We want to thank, of course, Skills Challenge as well for their hard work and everybody for their patience. You know, it's been a long time making this fight, but when there's a fight the size of this, you know, coming and putting on a production like you guys want to put on, these things take time. So thank you to Aegis and Alex and Oleksandr Usyk as well, and of course for our team, Anthony Joshua, 258 Management, Robert Garcia, and this is all very nice. It's all very friendly, but we're only here to win.
Yes. Exactly.
Honestly, that's all that matters. Last September was very painful when the great Oleksandr Usyk dethroned Anthony Joshua, and we're here to be pleasant, but we're here to see this man
Usyk heard his
regain
name.
those wonderful belts up there
like-
on August the 20th.
Amazing. We're actually here to see the rage
Put
of
his
the
head
Red
back
Sea
down.
happen, and on the 20th of August as well. I'd like now to hand over the mic to you to have a chat with our boxers and their camps, and good luck, and I'll be back again. Eddie, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for all attending here today in Jeddah ahead of this huge event, the Rage on the Red Sea, August the 20th in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It's been a long time coming. Back in 2019, we saw Anthony Joshua rematch Andy Ruiz and regain his World Heavyweight Championships in Riyadh, and it was a tremendous event. And of course, the boxing world and the sporting world slowed right down through the COVID pandemic, but now we're back, long overdue, and we're delighted to bring what is the biggest fight in the heavyweight division, one of the biggest fights in world boxing, to the
Joshua
kingdom
looks stoked.
in August. We're delighted, of course, to be joined by not just Team AJ with Anthony Joshua, former two-time heavyweight world champion, his great new trainer, Robert Garcia, but of course the champion, Oleksandr Usyk, the unified world heavyweight champion, the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion, his manager, Aegis Klimas, his promoter, Alex
Usyk looks
Krasik as
massive.
well. Abdullah, of course.
He doesn't look small,
lots from
and he
about
doesn't
the
look
growth
20
of
pounds
boxing
below.
here in Saudi Arabia, something that's very important to us as fans of the sport. It's amazing to bring huge profile, high profile fights to the kingdom, but even better to witness
Kurt,
the
with
growth
AJB, a
of
three-time
boxing
champion.
here in the kingdom, to see
All you
these great
guys.
fighters inspire the next generation. We all know Oleksandr and Anthony are two great examples of what boxing can do for a young person, how it can change, how it can shape their life. And we really believe that boxing is a tremendous way to shape and mould the life of young individuals, to teach them all the things that are important in life. It's about discipline, respect, fitness, mental well-being, being part of a team, being part of a community. And we feel very strongly that boxing can do that. So Abdullah, congratulations on the tremendous growth of boxing, particularly at the grassroots level in the kingdom. We're going to start by speaking to both members' teams.
Okay. I am very field. Usyk undisputed.
We'll start with you.
Usyk in 9 rounds.
We're going to be speaking back and forward. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot happening in the world. And of course, this rematch probably expected to be more like April or May. But what an event, what a setting, what an opportunity for these great fighters. And August 20th, a chance for Oleksandr Usyk to defend his world heavyweight titles.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for having us. I wanted to thank Scout Skill Challenge Company, Prince Khalid, Ministry of Sports, Boxing Federation for having us here. I wanted to congratulate Matchroom to put this deal together with K2 Promotions, and thank you very much for having us here. As far as this rematch, this bout is very, very important for both men, not just a one-sided. It's a both men. Of course, Anthony wants to get his belts back. He's with a new team, new trainer. I know personally Robert Garcia. He trained a couple of my champions before. He's a great, great trainer. So I think Anthony did a good job picking up this trainer. For Oleksandr is very important to keep those titles, to go forward, because very, very possibility the winner of this bout will go for the undisputed heavyweight champion, and which is going to be a history. So it's very, very important bout.
Obviously, we know there's been lots happening around the world, of course, in Ukraine as well, and an important moment for Alex to represent Ukraine in this fight as well. A difficult period for many of you, and Alex will talk about that, but a very proud champion and here to defend his title with honor.
Pay attention.
On August 20th.
Yes, of course. This is very, very important. August 20th, it's going to be another history day for in the sport of boxing.
Thank you, Igis. We'll turn to Robert Garcia. Robert, one of the worst kept secrets in boxing that you were involved in Anthony Joshua's camp, and pleased now that news is out there. We know you've been working hard behind the scenes. It's probably the biggest fight to walk straight into, but you're here to help this man regain his world championships on August 20th, and there's a lot of confidence in this camp and plenty of excitement as well.
Definitely. First of all, thank you all for being here. Thanks for having us. I want to congratulate Usyk and his team for, all the success they had. They're great people, great team. But you know what? I started coming here in December. I've been coming back and forth to England to work with Anthony, and I see a different Anthony now. The way he thinks, the way he talks, everything he's practicing, everything he's doing in the gym. I think he fought the wrong fight, and that's the past. That happened already. Usyk was a better man. Congratulate to him. But come August 20, we're gonna do whatever it takes, to win those titles back. I know he could do it. He's the bigger man. He's the stronger man. He's got the reach advantage. So we're gonna take advantage of all that. And come that day, I think without a doubt, we're gonna have a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Rematches are always fascinating. We saw Anthony adapt so well in the Andy Ruiz rematch, fought a completely different fight, boxed under instructions and won every round in that fight. We know that Oleksandr Usyk is a pound-for-pound great fighter, and you talked as well in an interview recently about the ability to adapt in a fight. The game plan
Usyk looks uninterested, you know what I mean? I don't know if he's just like, whatever it is.
It's a difficult task to fight this pound-for-pound
Definitely,
great.
we got to be prepared for everything. Usyk is a great fighter. He's got skills, he's got reflex, he's got accuracy, he's got everything. But yeah, I think Anthony has all the tools to beat him. We just have to do the things in the gym, You know, when I first came in December, Angel Fernandez was also working with us. He told me about so many things that went wrong during their camp. You know, that's the past. You know, that already happened. Now it's time to work on what Anthony could do. You know, if you guys see Anthony in the back, he's practicing little things that we've been working on in the gym. You know, even on his days off, he's training. We're watching sparring together. We're watching videos together, and he's learning. He's taking notes. He wants to be champion again. And like I told you, I have no doubt that August 20, he will be champion again.
Finally, you work with some great fighters. How's it been seeing this big heavyweight up close? The speed, the combination punches, like you say, that ability to learn as well. But always fun watching this man unload leather.
You know what? With his dedication that he has, all the hard work that he does in the gym, you know, it motivates me also to do much more and to put more into training camp to come out with a win, because I know how much he wants it. I know how much the rest of the team wants it, and that motivates me to do it also. You know, I won my first heavyweight champion of the world. You know, I've had 14 world champions. He will be my 15, but he will be my first heavyweight champion of the world, and that's big.
August
big for me
20th.
too.
Thank you, Robert. Alex, welcome. Again, part of these long negotiations to get this done, but we're here. Famous pictures of you and Oleksandr embracing in the ring at Tottenham Hotspur in September of last year, and us looking sick as we suffered defeat, and of course Anthony. But a special moment for you, but now coming in as champion, defending that crown, and a huge event, August 20th here in Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the opportunity, and it's a big honor for us to be here. While thinking over the speech for this media event, I looked back for the press conference that we had before the first fight. And the last words were, let the best man win, and we see you again for the rematch. So here we are, seeing you again for the rematch. It's an absolutely huge event. It's a big, huge honor to be a part of it. And it took us a lot of efforts and will to make it happen.
Always coached overachievers.
Probably in February and March, we had to face a challenge of war in our country, and it was like we were not sure that this fight might take place. But finally, we put ourselves together. We made the decision to get into the fight, and now we are here representing our country, Ukraine, with a pride in our hearts. And we are representing our country here in the new destination of sports in the world, here in the Saudi Arabia. And to finish with, so let this fight happen. Let, again, the best man win. And probably we see you again for the undisputed, inshallah.
We go to the challenger this time.
Here's Anthony, people.
Your 27th fight, your 12th successive world championship fight. Still feels like yesterday when you turned pro after winning the Commonwealth, the Olympic gold in London in 2012. All those fights on, that hunger still burns deep inside of Anthony Joshua. The will to become champion again, the will to win again. Back to Saudi Arabia with such great memories, of course, from when you beat Andy Ruiz here in December 2019. But pleased now to get this day, pleased to be able to focus on what is arguably the toughest fight of your career, arguably the most important moment of your career here in the Kingdom in August.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say God is good all the time, even through tough times. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today, and definitely the hunger's still there. As I always said from the get-go, stay hungry. Just keep the motivation high. Blips happen, things happen in life.
Blips.
But resilience, mental toughness, consistency will always prevail. So we're still on the road to undisputed for sure. And it's just a little blip in the road, but I'm focused, on the target, which is sitting over there. I'll focus on the goal, and God willing, I'll perform and I'll become 3-time heavyweight champion of the world.
I remember when you suffered that defeat, when you suffered defeat to Andy Ruiz as well, you always put on a brave face, but this one was a little bit different because I felt like you knew you might have got it wrong. And I remember meeting up with you, I think a day or 2 days after the fight at Tottenham. You were angry, you were deflated, and it's taken you a while to get things right. I know you're a perfectionist now, you have a new trainer as well, but it's been a while, but it feels like this time has been good for you to reflect on that defeat, understand what you needed to change to move forward, and now I've never seen as much confidence within the team going into this camp.
Yeah, kind of, definitely. Like, with Andy Ruiz, I think a lot of people can see before the fight, things weren't 100%. But we got to be strong, thick-skinned, and we take our loss like a man, you know, because when I win, I keep it moving, I thank everybody, and if I lose, you have to stay humble as well in defeat. So we kept it moving, and I knew I could come back again and do what I have to do. The fight with Usyk, he bust my ass for some rounds, and I have to take that defeat like a man as well, but I hold myself accountable. You know, I'm someone who can admit when I'm wrong and hold my head high when I'm right. And in the fight in September, I was wrong, and he was right. And simply, I have to reverse that role August 20th. And I don't like to overcomplicate the situation, because there's simplicity and genius. Like, sometimes if you keep things simple, you can achieve great things. So I'm just going to keep things simple, move forward, and the date will soon come, 20th of August. So I wish the team a successful training camp and safe travels wherever they're going in the world. And same to my team. Robert's been great in the camp. My staff at the back there as well that have been helping me in training camp. I wish all of us well. I wish you guys a safe few weeks, and I can't wait to see you all again in the stadium for a great night of heavyweight championship boxing.
Okay. Those are words from
One
AJ.
thing you've
people.
always been good at is adapting and learning and putting together a game plan and following that game plan. You did that so well in the Andy Ruiz rematch as well. Going into the Usyk fight, there's a lot of almost sort of perception, confusion of the wizardry of Usyk and the unknowns of facing this guy. Now that you've gone 12 rounds with him, do you think that's going to help you a lot going into the rematch as well? Because I felt like going into that first fight, there was a lot of unknowns about his ability, the southpaw stance, his movement. You've experienced that. You've also seen how good it is as well, but going to help you to understand what you need to do to regain those belts.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we have to give him, his team, credit where credit's due. I'm not a hater. You know, I respect people in their craft. I respect him in his craft and what he's achieved. So that only should motivate me to want to get better, right? So if I'm around someone that's better than me on the night, or better than me in certain aspects, I have to motivate myself and push myself to be better than them. And that's all it's done, really. And the great thing is I've got a second chance. Like, what got me into boxing in the first place, when I was a youngster, I got in a little bit of trouble now and again. And, you know, I was blessed with a second chance, and I found boxing and I took it with both hands. So if you know me and a lot of my story, you can know I'm the comeback king. You can put me down, but it's difficult to keep me down, because I always keep my spirits high. I'm very prayerful, I'm very thankful, and even through my tough times, I know that everything will make sense in the long run. So we keep on moving forward, and good luck to him again. As I said, I wish him well, because August 20th, I really want to entertain everyone that's coming. And thank you to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as well for the second opportunity. Prince Khalid, my friend Bander over there as well, and Skills Challenge as well.
And just finally, because I think it's an important message on this platform with millions of people watching around the world, the importance of boxing for the younger generation and within the community, because you are probably the greatest example of that, or the most high profile example of that as well, who can let people know, whether it's governments, whether it's countries, about the importance and the role that boxing can play. We talk about grassroots boxing in the kingdom rising by 300% since the clash on the Dunes. Just a very, very quick word on what boxing did for you and how it can shape and mould the next generation.
So for me, boxing, becoming a champion is the long-term goal. It's a long-term goal that you set yourself. Deep within your heart, you always know what you want to achieve, deep within your heart, but you look at the obstacles and the challenges to get there. So when I started boxing, at the time I was not living a healthy, clean lifestyle, but it promotes for me different ways of getting fit, running, cycling, rowing, swimming. You can even play badminton to get fit, whichever way. So it promotes a healthy living. So you're doing good for yourself. So I changed my diet as well. I still like greasy food. I still like brownies and ice cream like everyone. But at the same time, too much of anything is not good for you. So I learned to control myself, control my habits. So I started eating more healthy. Also, start controlling the things I would listen to, the type of music I was listening to, the type of documentaries I was watching. So all about what I was intaking, the information I was intaking. So I used boxing as a vessel to help push me and promote a better lifestyle, not just to become champion. I think becoming champion is easy when your spirit's right. If your spirit's in the right place, you can achieve anything. And boxing helped get my spirit in the right place. And it's been a rough journey, of course, but as I said, you can be put down, but don't stay down, keep on moving forward. And even through the pandemic, a lot of boxing gyms in England were closed in Great Britain because of the virus that was going around. But through the help of boxing, the supporters, even the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we donate a lot of money to keep gyms open because the governments don't look at boxing as like golf or tennis or a sport like that. But I promise you, we represent ourselves properly, like we represent ourselves like gentlemen. We come to fight hard, we come to do our best, but ultimately we try and be role models. And boxing has great things that it can offer young aspiring children that want to help themselves in business, because if you live a healthy life, I'm sure you could be successful in business. Like I see you half of the time trying to be a boxer or trying to run around the streets and look after yourself, because healthy heart, healthy circulation, good mind. And I love boxing for those reasons.
Okay, those were words from AJ once again. Shout out to Thunder's Promotion
Oleksandr, welcome.
for the $10
For the first time, first
CA.
press
Appreciate
conference,
you,
the
brother.
reigning
Salute to you.
unified world
Thank
heavyweight
you.
champion. You said you were going to do it.
And
You
here's
did do
Usyk.
it. This time here in Saudi Arabia, defending your world heavyweight titles.
Добро пожаловать. Ты в прошлый раз говорил, что ты это сделаешь, ты это сделал. Сейчас ты первый раз на пресс-конференции в роли чемпиона действуешь.
Hello, everybody, people. I'm very happy and here. I'm very happy what next my fight in Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much, who is do, Prince Khalid. Thank you so much. It's very, очень,
Pleasant.
yeah, very pleasant for me, for my team.
What else you want from me? Present, yeah.
Я зараз
Present,
йду,
yeah.
тому що не
Now I want to switch to Ukrainian.
я дуже радий тут знаходитись.
It's a big honor for me to be here.
Наскільки ми знаємо, у нас зараз складне становище, але це не про це. Ми робимо свою справу з моєю командою.
As we all know, we are not in the best conditions at the moment back at home, but we are doing what we have to do. We are doing our job together with my team. We are working hard to achieve our goals.
Я ніколи не робив гучних замов.
I never made some very loud and bright speeches.
Я просто трудився і виконував свою роботу в своєму тренувальному лагері.
All I did is I just worked hard in my training camp, in my gym.
Те, що я буду робити на протязі цього часу до поєдинку,
That's what I'm gonna do until the date of the fight.
а потім я вийду і буду радувати вас своїм боксом.
And then I will enter the ring and will make you happy with my boxing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oleksandr, just one more question, of course. You looked very happy when you won in September to become champion, but you're very confident that you will be victorious on August the 20th and you will leave Saudi Arabia as still the world heavyweight champion.
Ты в прошлый раз был очень счастлив, когда стал чемпионом мира. Сейчас у тебя шанс защитить. Ты выглядишь очень уверенно. и ты выглядишь как человек,
I
который
would break
выглядит
you.
в Сауди Аравии защищенным чемпионом мира.
Я щасливий. Я дуже радий не від того, що я чемпіон світу. Я дуже радий від того, що в мене є дружина, діти, друзі та моя великолепна команда.
The reason for my happiness is not my championship belts, but the fact that I have a family, my wife, my children, and a wonderful team around me.
Yeah, did you just say fuck those belts?
Well, thank you, Oleksandr. Thank you, Aegis. Thank you, Alex Krasik, Abdullah. Thank you, Robert, Anthony.
Anthony
And
just
here we
gave a
go,
look.
guys. August the
Like,
20th.
what the
Not
fuck he
long
say?
now. This will come around very, very quickly in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The Unified World Heavyweight Championship. Those great belts up there, the IBF, the WBA, the IBO, and the WBO World Heavyweight Championship. The greatest prize in our sport will be contested here in the Kingdom on August the 20th. We're going to have both fighters, both champion and challenger, in front of us here for a head-to-head before the guys take care of their media obligations. We want to thank you so much for attending here today. We will be in London on Wednesday for the London leg of the press conference, and we look forward to a wonderful event here on August 20th.
Thank you.
Okay,
Nadeem.
that was
We'll
short and
call
sweet.
the face-off, please, on stage.
Now we're doing the
Thank
face-off,
you
people.
for your contribution today. Thank you, Prince Fahad. Thank you, Ms. Rasha Al-Khamis as well.
That's a distant face-off, though. If you guys look, it's a distant face-off. It's like a...
I would like to invite our boxers to now gather outside for the official photo call and traditional face-off, which will take place outside in front of the
You can feel the
stunning
energy, though.
Red Sea.
Check it out. Nobody's
Photographers and
moving.
Camera crew, if you'd like to make your way outside.
Usyk
in a
still
couple of
looking.
minutes,
AJ still
in order
looking.
to position you all
Engage.
for a
Fierce
photo
gauge.
moment. Thank
Fierce
you for attending.
engagement.
We look forward to welcoming you all back on August 20th, 2022.
AJ signals.
For Rage on the
Usyk's
Red
looking.
Sea.
He's shaking his head
Please
like,
enjoy the rest of
yeah.
the
He's
evening.
still looking. Look at Usyk. Usyk's still watching him. Usyk's still watching him. AJ still sitting there like a soldier in the British Army. He's still watching him. They're both watching each other. AJ broke. Usyk was the last one looking with the stance of death. Wow. Wow. Usyk raising his hand high, gives a little bow.
Yeah, boy.
That was what you call a very passive-aggressive standoff. That's what you call that. Because Usyk watched him. Look, AJ did this, like, look in front. Usyk was like, yeah, I understood that. I'm still looking at you, though. You are my problem. Not them. I ain't worried about them. You. Even when he did this, he did this. Then AJ repeated it. He's like, well, fuck it. I can do that too. So AJ was like, so that was the best part of it. The face-off. The best part of it was the face-off. So, Usyk not human. AJ looks scared. Bob, Warren, Leonard E, and Lou DiBella are hurting so much right now. Usyk won that stare down. Simon, Nolan, he did. Usyk did where he won that stare down. There's no doubt about it. He just came with some fierceness, and you could tell a lot of things, though. A lot of things come with body language, tone. Most of the time, like a huge percentage of things you don't even have to say. And that's why people like Usyk, he doesn't even talk good English, but you can tell just by him being him. You know, him joking, him prankstering. He's like a joker, but then yet he's dangerous. He's very dangerous. Saudi Arabia is blood money. AJ knows what time it is. Both be calling for Frank fighter when they win. Frank can't wait for the 21st. The face-off was stone cold. The face-off was serious. You know, and if you want to know, look. It's the conference put us to damn sleep. The face-off woke us up. Let's just be real. You know, and it's like when you're dealing with Oleksandr Usyk, a guy that's been in war, a guy that's been through a whole bunch of shit, which most people don't go anything near. He will never go anywhere near that type of situation in their life. It makes a totally different person. I think Usyk is a different person in a different way. Look at how he was before. Okay, before the war, before Russia and all this Ukrainian stuff, before that happened, Usyk was more of a you know, and now he's just like stone cold, no smiling. And then if it is a smile, it ain't that type of smile that it ain't that. It's like, I'll kill you. I'm going to break you. I'm going to show you. I was boxing you last time. This time, I'm going to KO you. Maybe to death. That's the type of, that's what I've received. That's what I see. And AJ, AJ looked focused and calm. And then that's another thing I want to talk about AJ. Because, AJ had the floor. You know what I mean? The ruthless AJ is back. This will be war. AJ looked, you looked at his face. He looked clean. He looked clear. He did look like he definitely had a life change. AJ, though, you seen him talk about the food that he ate, the shit that he consumed. He wasn't living a very healthy lifestyle. And it's like, well, damn, you could have fooled me with all that, with all those videos, with all those motivational speeches and shit like that. Well, we never got you wasn't living clean. We seen you eating pineapple and all that type of stuff. So that tells me it's not what you see a person do. It's what you don't see a person do. Because based on what he just said, I wasn't eating right. I wasn't doing this. You know what I mean? So he's definitely changing up some stuff. AJ was on the Kush. Same time. He was on the Kush. He was probably hanging out with Mike Tyson. Yeah, he was hanging out with Mike, though. I think Mike, had him on the Kush, a bit. Suzuku's 11, appreciate the super chat, brother. I predicted 6-round knockout for Anthony Joshua. The negative power against AJ loses. I don't know. I mean, it just shows you how good Usyk is with fighting under pressure, with fighting with things that is beyond his control. That's what you ask yourself. It is a very interesting situation. Why? Usyk's been in a situation he's never been in. You can train, you can prepare, you can, it's a lot of things you can do, but still, it's like if he had any type of mindset of knocking out AJ, if that mindset of knocking out AJ put him in danger of getting knocked out, there's a chance of him getting stopped himself. Okay? You know what I mean? Like, imagine AJ hitting him with a right uppercut the same way that he hit Klitschko. He hit Vladimir. That's the thing you ask yourself. AJ's power shots to Usyk's body will be the key to victory. Says Sukaku's. The body shots definitely worked. AJ has a puncher's chance. He will try to straight jab control again. like Ruiz and Usyk will have any will have answer for him. Yeah, he had answer for the jab before. That jab wasn't a snappy jab. Rene Padilla. Kurt, who would win 35-year-old Luis Ortiz or current Usyk? Don't know because they're both the same age. Um, that's a good question because, see, Ortiz is a counterpuncher. And I think that fight will go a little something like this. That's a good question, Renee. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Um, I think it'll go like this. I think that fight will go the same way that Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Vasyl Lomachenko went. I think Rigondeaux will be waiting for something that won't be there. If Luis Ortiz at age 35, he would be jabbing, but he would be waiting for counters. Now, he would get in some body punches because he is a pressure fighter, so credit to him. He won't wait like Rigondeaux. But Usyk is the type of dude that can throw punches in bunches, and you have to remember they're two southpaws. So it would be, Ortiz waiting for these shots that he normally catches people with, especially if they're coming forward like he did with Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings was just rough, tugging, rough, getting in there, grind them out, work of the inside, mid-range to close range type fighter. And Luis Ortiz was a counterpuncher, waiting, boom, and he catches him with an uppercut. That won't be Usyk. Usyk will be a guy that needs his freedom, that needs the space to move, that needs the space to punch, but can punch in bunches as well. And I think he can do it faster than Ortiz. He's faster than Ortiz. So, I think he would just pick Ortiz apart from a certain distance using his footwork. Because here's the thing though, the 35-year-old Luis Ortiz had pretty good footwork of himself, but so did Guillermo. I just think Usyk would beat Luis Ortiz at age 35. At age 35 to 35, I see him beating Ortiz. But Ortiz was bigger. If you notice, Ortiz is definitely getting older. Because if you look at Ortiz, if you go back and watch Ortiz's earlier fights, that dude was probably 6'4" then. As you get older, your vertebrae start to wear down. You get shorter. You start to shrink up, or you do this type of fucking your skeleton merges into however your posture is, and your muscles convert with your skeleton. That's why when you go somewhere and they give you an adjustment, you're like, oh my God, because your muscles are adjusting to the way your body is. So a person slumps over all the time, like we sit here and we use these cell phones and this shit's like this. We're going to be very jacked up in the future unless we can have something that directs your spine upward. We're going to be a bunch of humpback whales, humpback Notre Dames. That's what we're going to be. We're going to be lurky looking. AJ fans panicking. He sat on the ropes, which is a loss for me. Usyk looks emotionally exhausted. I don't know. I mean, Usyk don't talk a lot anyway. But then again, he doesn't look happy. So, he doesn't look like he's in the best spirits. But then he's too quiet, like this passive quietness, And the only thing we can do is compare it to what he did before, how he did before. And your tailbone is going to shift forward. Kurt is the knight mindset. In the right mindset, he's focused. Usyk is dialed in. The big mystery will be Usyk's state of mind. Well, Usyk, man, I'm going to tell you, Usyk is a guy that we will learn a lot about. He might have not took an L in the ring, but if his country gets taken over, that's the biggest L that you can ever take in your life. And I mean, your life for everybody. You have to think about it. It's countries that don't exist anymore due to that type shit. So Usyk, it's a lot of pressure. I just posted a video about that. Shit's supposed to have been out 4:30 this morning. I'm kind of pissed off, honestly, because that video is supposed to went out four or 5 hours ago. But it's out now. Better late than never. AJ was waffling a lot, looks nervous. Usyk's face looked raw, still from abuse from AJ. Usyk looked like he was focused, like he wanted to kill AJ. Let's get those likes up. We got 250 people in here. Let's get 250 likes. So the people that hit the like button, if you're still here, thank you. You did what you're supposed to do. But for the people that haven't hit the like button, please do what the other 55 has done. Usyk himself said Usyk is doing well mentally and physically. Well, that's another thing. Look at Usyk physically. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but Usyk looked big as shit. You know, Usyk looked uncomfortable. Usyk looked like he was bored, but I mean, there wasn't anything that was exciting about it. You know, I mean, Usyk said what he was going to say. I think what Usyk is trying to do is save all his energy for the ring. You know, but yeah, Turpentine, he looked thick. He didn't look like he was small. He didn't look like a cruiserweight. He looked like a normal size heavyweight. And people need to know what that means. You know what a normal size heavyweight is? Anybody from 6 foot tall to 6'3", that's a normal heavyweight. Anyone else past 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", that's above size. That's that's over average. That's above average. Okay, so a lot of people in the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen Wilder, we've seen big ass Fury, we've seen buff ass AJ, and we've seen how tall they are, 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", and all that stuff. Look, that is not normal for a heavyweight. Those are just above normal size heavyweights, either height or size. Okay? Usyk looked shook. I don't know. Let the upset happen. Too many AJ panty sniffers. Buzz Light beer. Usyk looks big, filled out as well. Usyk KOs AJ this time. Sleep time. Bittersweet. AJ's going to get KO'd. I mean, it's shitty each way. I mean, and this is the thing. If AJ knocks out Oleksandr Usyk, Usyk fails his country. He fails his country. We'll never see Usyk and Tyson Fury, which if we learn anything about boxing, Usyk, and then see, this is my thing. I think Tyson Fury, speaking of him for a second, Tyson Fury wants AJ to win because he believes that he can beat AJ. He believes that he can beat AJ. He talks about the middleweight and the cruiserweight and all that. He talks about that shit all day long when he comes to Usyk, but you don't really see him in desire to fight him. But then yet, when he seen him face to face, when he did see him face to face, he told him, thank you for beating AJ. Did a good job. See, I don't think that Tyson Fury's interested in fighting Usyk because it's one of those fights that you mess around and get your ass beat, get upset, and then your legacy is shitted on. Now, why? Because if you live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword. If you think by being undefeated, that's gonna fulfill your legacy. That's why you're trying to get the fuck out of boxing and do exhibitions when you're way too young to do shit like that. That's you. Okay. But if you get beaten, okay, that all goes away. Why? Because you're following the Mayweather logic, and that's not true. But if you believe in the Mayweather logic, it is true to you. Counterpunch. So if Tyson Fury goes and gets beat, it's going to make him look bad. Then we have to see how he takes that. And if he gets beat by a middleweight, it's going to look embarrassing. It's going to be embarrassing. I don't think he'll be able to live that down. And I think if he has any type of mental illness, that shit's going to come back full force. So maybe Tyson is protecting his overall mental health by not taking certain challenges. You know, that's it. But if Joshua catches Usyk, he knows, hey, I'm back into the sport of boxing, lads. You think I was gone. You know what I mean? And he will fight. Look. If AJ beats Usyk, Tyson Fury will be back. He doesn't want Deontay Wilder to come back because he doesn't want, think about him. It would be different if Tyson Fury was at least fair about his own retirement that didn't involve nobody else. If he says, I'm retiring, that's it. If you're going to retire, retire. If you think that Deontay Wilder can knock out everybody else, okay, why don't you root or why don't you promote the idea of Deontay Wilder coming back to the sport of boxing? But he's not doing that shit. He's saying, I don't know what he has left. I think I've left him wrecked. No, you don't want him to come back, because if someone else knocks him out, that means someone shares the victory with you. That is the whole point. And he doesn't even want Deontay Wilder to come back. So why don't you want Deontay Wilder to fight the winner of these guys? That would be the first thing I would do if I was retired and don't intend to come back, and I believe the guy that I beat, the guy that only I beat, could do it. I would be promoting that guy only. Does that make any kind of sense? I mean, am I making sense here? Or you just, I don't know. Tyson's style of fighting will beat Usyk. Well, I don't know. See, he won't fight. This is the problem. Gabriel Atkins, you're basing his style on how he fought White, okay, or how he fought Wilder. He can't fight Usyk like that and win. Are you tripping? Coming in and moving around, come in and he's not going to do that, because Usyk's not going to let him do that. Usyk's not going to be there like a big ass boxing bag and let him get hit. And see, again, guys thinking that Tyson Fury, based on his last performance, can do the same thing to a whole different opponent with a whole different style, your logic is flawed. It's flawed for many, 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 many reasons. Okay? Kurt, look at the damage AJ done last time after hardly landing a punch. This time Usyk is going to get crushed. Well, I don't know about barely landing a punch. AJ landed a lot of blows to Usyk as far as contact. He didn't land a lot of flush blows. That's the difference. If you guys can remember, it makes me think about Winky Wright. Nobody really hit Winky Wright flush. Okay? Winky always had his guard up, his mitts. But just because you punch someone, blocking is the last part of defense. That's the last thing you want to do, is block a shot. You want to bob it, you want to weave it, you want to move out of the way from it, but you don't want to get hit with it any shape, form, or fashion, because it's still inflicting contact. You guys have to understand that. So AJ laid leather on him. It just wasn't those flush shots that penetrate the type of result that he wanted. See, AJ wanted to catch this man with that left hook, that right uppercut, that stiff jab. He didn't get those shots off. But what he did do, those inside punches, he land partially, and even partial punches inflict damage. Yes, but obviously Usyk has thin skin, like a lot of Ukrainians, like the Klitschko's, like Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko, they have thin skin. They're light-skinned. Go figure. That's how it is. You know, but does that mean he's not tough? That shows how tough he is, taking all that damn punching. Taking all that from a bigger guy that's punching harder. Yes, he's blocking him, but he's blocking these shots, but he's still getting damage inflicted upon him. Usyk will get a KO win this time. Let's go. He said AJ is a fraud. See, that's crazy. AJ is a fraud. How? Usyk will get a KO win this time. Usyk doesn't fight rematch. How do you think that would affect Usyk? I don't know. See, it's a lot of things. Usyk's never been in a rematch. Anthony Joshua's known to be the comeback kid. You know, Wilder, Klitschko. Wilder, who fought who again? He fought Luis Ortiz and beat Luis Ortiz twice. That's his greatest accomplishment. Dominic Breazeale doesn't exist because he was beaten by opposition that was way under the top 10 opposition, and that's Otto Vailene. Dominic Breazeale is out. Thirst boy. Hello. AJ only took on Usyk because he thought that he was the bigger boy, but Usyk outclassed and punched him. AJ took on Usyk because he thought he was the bigger boy, but Usyk outclassed him and outboxed him. I mean, he had to fight him. He either had to fight Usyk or give up the WBO belt. And he wasn't trying to do that because he wanted to bring to the table the total undisputed. He wanted to be the 3 belts that come to the table against the WBC, which whoever had the WBC, Tyson Fury had the WBC, so he wanted to come with the rest of the belts. That's the whole point of the undisputed. It wasn't like he chose Usyk because Usyk was a smaller guy. That's bullshit. He fought him because he had to. If he didn't fight him, he was going to get stripped by the WBO. Eventually, because they actually threw Joe Joyce in there, to fight Usyk as some type of mandatory that Usyk was already mandatory, which made no sense. I didn't think that was that's dumb. Why would you have Usyk fight Joe Joyce? For first of all, we've already seen these guys in the amateurs, and that we've seen that Usyk has the ability to beat Joe Joyce. That's nothing that you have to worry about and look at. And for 2, it's well, he's already done what he's supposed to do by getting undisputed in a totally different weight class, just like Terrence Bud Crawford did. Okay? AJ will become 3-time world champion, heavyweight champion, unified champion. Again, stay hungry, stay humble. Stay hungry, stay humble. I'm just interested to see what Roberto Garcia can do with him. And I'm thinking it's just total body assault. Stop this man from moving, cut off the ring, work the body. Keep moving forward. Keep your punch output. Don't get tired, because if you get tired, that's your ass. Because the Usyk is not going to stop. We've already seen Usyk pushed. We've seen Usyk charged. We've seen him bullied. We've seen that with Derek Chisora. And we've also seen Derek Chisora run out of gas and Usyk step on the gas. And when Usyk stepped on that damn gas, we saw what happened. Double knockdown, round 7. Wow. It's going to be something. But we get to know what AJ still has left, and we get to know what Usyk still has to bring to the table as far as mental, physical, and everything. Usyk only needs 30 second breaks. Usyk not like body shots. He doesn't like body shots. You're absolutely right. Body shots are kryptonite to Usyk. So, AJ better start landing them. Trap, catch, and punch if you can't go to the body. Yeah. Damn, I was watching since you had 15,000 subs. You almost got 100. Well, hey, keep growing, brother. I never thought the channel would be this far. It's a total blessing, On that note, let's get back to the sport of boxing. Joshua got to fight him in a way Lennox Lewis Tua. No, dude, you're tripping. Lennox Lewis, Tua, AJ Usyk is nothing like that. That would be if AJ is Lennox Lewis, who would Usyk have to be? Usyk has to be somebody like Roy Jones? Not even. Maybe Chris Bird? Somebody said you comparing Usyk to Tua? No, dude. No. Maybe somebody like Chris Bird that has that type of southpaw slickness. That would be interesting. Chris Bird versus Lennox Lewis. That would be interesting. No, not Mike Tyson. We've seen Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. And Mike Tyson's not a southpaw. It had to be somebody that comes from the opposite stance, like Usyk is, fighting a conventional fighter like AJ is, just like Lennox was, to compare Lennox to AJ and then Usyk to whoever. But it sure the hell ain't David Tua talking about, no. You know what happened when Anthony Joshua kept trying to use the jab against Usyk? He kept slipping and coming in. And look, he would get close enough just to counter the jab. He would counter the jab or parry the jab. He would either parry the jab and then come up under and then throw that straight left. And then he would either dip out or elude left or right, depending on where Joshua was trying to fight. If Joshua was trying to throw a left, he slips up under that right. Okay? If he's trying to throw that. So if Joshua throws, he slips up under that and he still commence fighting and bobbing and weaving. It's like a puzzle piece that you can't figure out. It's like a puzzle that you're trying to figure out, but the puzzle keeps changing. That's how it's like to fight Oleksandr Usyk. That shit's annoying. Michael Hunter be in AJ camp to help and spark? He could be because he was there, but so was AJ. Is AJ proud? Is he too proud to let him in? Maybe. Usyk will bring war to the ring. You know, and look, Usyk did a master class. Tua didn't even come inside. Lewis caught him coming in and going out. He did. He made him pay for going in too. Whenever Usyk would Tua would throw a left hook, that powerful left hook that he got known for. And then Tua's hands are so heavy that he didn't even know about his right hand until he went with Goosen. Goosen showed him like, dude, you can knock people out with your right hand. He was only throwing a left hand like he was a fucking Miguel Cotto or somebody. AJ becomes pound for pound after beating pound for pound. Maybe. Usyk is not fat Mexican. AJ is going to get KO'd. AJ isn't going to run at Usyk. It's going to be like the second, with AJ being more active, heavy. Probably going to be at a pace that would suit 6 rounds because all he needs to land is one clean. No, Luis, that's not true. Luis Blancos, that's not true. AJ doesn't need one fucking shot to knock him out. Not saying he can't hurt him with one shot because he's done that in the first fight. But the first fight got me. AJ caught Usyk with straight rights. Did it stun him? Yes. Did it stop him? No. That's why I don't buy that. Oh, he just needs this one shot. Because we're talking like this is Deontay Wilder somebody. He's not. AJ is not a Wilder. AJ doesn't have the mindset of a Wilder, and he shouldn't. Because if you think you can land one good shot and beat Usyk, you're tripping. Because he's already landed one good shot, and Usyk took that shit like a G and still kept moving forward. Got himself composed and still kept eating up at that face and wearing AJ's ass out. Just like AJ just told you. Man, he beat my ass. You know what I mean? You gotta give credit because he knew, man, Usyk really put a number on me. And you don't have to have this huge knockout power to do it. Andy Ruiz didn't have that huge knockout power. He still got it done. I will bet on AJ if he will win, bro. And watching the face off, I guess he is ready now. You know, that if like based on, I'll look at I don't gamble, but I think showbiz has encouraged me to gamble a little bit. I may put money on AJ just because I know it'll be an upside to it. And if he fucks around and wins, okay. But if he loses, I'll lose some money. And then I start thinking about all the money that I could, if I put $300 on AJ to win. If I do that shit and Usyk comes out there and I am very Ukraine, bow. I'm like, fuck, that's my $300. I could have got a new PlayStation. Fuck. That's how I'm going to be thinking. You know, but if I win, I win. You know, Kurt, my man, I reckon AJ looks ready. To me, Usyk looks shifty. Man, Usyk looks, man, that face off though, I don't think he looks shifty. Now, if Usyk would have done that shit, like kind of put his head down or stood there and then kind of looked off and, you know, didn't really want to engage with AJ here, Usyk here, and they were kind of far apart. They were like, dude, they were pretty far apart. So it wasn't like a massive face off. It wasn't like that close engaging, but it was still engaging. AJ was here, Usyk was here, Usyk was looking like, you know, had the fucking LL Cool J Kango hat on, and then he was looking at AJ, and AJ was looking at him, and you could tell the energy, you could feel it. Like Deontay says, you could feel the energy in the room. I can feel the energy, right? Those guys were, dude, they were locked in. You can't tell me that shit wasn't fire. You couldn't tell me that was fuego. Yeah, call it for AJ because you called Usyk and look what happened. Exactly. Shit. So, you know, I might as well switch it up, right? AJ's, you know, he's like Keanu Reeves, you know. He's a comeback kid. We'll see. But no, I mean that you look, the best part about that whole bullshit, thank everybody, thank Khalid, thank Saudi Arabia, thank these guys, thank this woman we never heard of, thank this person, thank this money, thank that money, thank this money, thank that money, thank all that bullshit. And then we got the fighters, and we heard AJ talk about this, that, and the other. And then we heard Usyk say a little bit in English. I thank you, President. Okay, then we got that. Then we got the face-off. The face-off was fire. That was the best thing about the whole deal. Peace, Kurt. I'm ready for this fight. I got AJ. Appreciate that super chat, brother. AJ is like Keanu. Kurt, you got that fire today, homie. I mean, look, that's what I thought of when he said I'm like the comeback kid. I thought I was Keanu Reeves. I thought of Johnny Mnemonic, and then I thought of the Matrix. Thought of the Lighthouse, then I thought of John Wick. You know what I mean? Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake. You know? Usyk is paranoid about the world not helping Ukraine as much as it should be. That's why he's mad. Well, depends on how he uses that madness. If he's mad to the point where he's like, fuck everybody, you know, I'm going to go in there and crush AJ. I'm going to take it out on AJ, and I do it in the worst way. Usyk has those killer eyes. Alza, he does. He goes in there, hurts AJ, and OJ like, you fucking guys should respect Ukraine. Ukraine? No, it's Ukraine. He beat the shit out of me. I believe AJ has something to prove. He does. You know, you got guys like Joe Joyce saying that he's just a businessman because he signed all that money. And you know how other fighters hate to see that. And, you know, they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear a guy that just got his ass whooped signing for more hundreds of millions of dollars on top of the hundreds of millions of dollars that he already has. Or, you know, he adds more to that. Like, dude, you're already fucking rich. Now you're getting more money? Fucking, I hate you. You know what I mean? That's boxing, though. Hey, Kurt, I always wanted to ask you, who is your favorite fighter in the past or present? You can pick more than one. All right. If you will. Also, how do you think this fight will go? The sweet science. Oh, my favorite fighters. Let's look at it like this. I don't like to say my favorite fighters because that's too political. I'll tell you fighters that stick out, and I'm more of always an underdog kind of person because I used to watch guys like Julian Lederlow, Emmanuel Burton, Mickey Ward, Antonio Diaz, which is Julio Diaz's brother, and the trainer's brother, Antonio's brother. Diego Corrales, Ernie Shavers, Obakar. These are guys that come to mind when I think of the grittiness of boxing, because some of these guys weren't champions. Some of these guys were just contenders. Some of these guys fought good fights against the guys that were champions that I'm really not just in love with. You know what I mean? Obakar fought Oscar De La Hoya. He fought Ike Corte. He fought Felix Trinidad, but he came up short. He never beat any of those guys, but he was a very good fighter, and he impressed me. So when I was in the gym, I would work on things like Obakar. Obakar had back in the 90s, I don't know, like late 90s, early 2000s, Roy Jones had what you call a triple or quadruple left hook. So he would left it, he would throw it in succession, and they would all come like rapid fire, like bop, 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 and then follow with the left and another, follow with the right, another left hook, boom, straight up the pipe. I work on those type of things. So, like Obakar did that really well, and he was a very good boxer. He was from the Modi, that's actually his nickname, Oba Motor City Car. And like guys like that, who else comes to mind? Jimmy Thunder. Usyk has the look of a scary guy, but he is a really good person. I just think he knows this is serious. And the way he looked at AJ, it's almost like he's looking at every representation of somebody that has something against his people. I hope Fury will come out of retirement if Usyk wins. Let's put it this way. I think Tyson Fury came in to do something that he wanted to do, and I think it's over. I do think he needs boxing, but I think he's going to have to bust his head again. I think Tyson Fury is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. It's either he's lying to people, which I hope, or he's going to go out there and fuck up and do the same shit that he did 4 years ago. And what was that? Not even 4 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. He's going to go out there. Not like he said, I just been retired for just a few weeks. He's saying that because he has a lot of fucking up to do. Tyson want to go out and get high. He want to get drunk. He want to go slam some more chicks. He wants to do those type of things because that's what Tyson Fury does. Nothing wrong with that. It's just Tyson Fury is a guy that likes to do what Tyson Fury likes to do. That's it. You know, and he's going to look at the landscape. He's going to always think that he's better than everybody else. If you think you're better than Muhammad Ali and not do what Muhammad Ali did, okay, well, that's all in your mind. Don't mean you're better than Muhammad Ali, though. Doesn't mean Floyd Money Mayweather is, because Floyd didn't do what Muhammad Ali did. Tyson Fury didn't do what Muhammad Ali did. Yeah, Fury is so clever, he's got most fans fooled. AK super dope. That is the realest shit that I've heard all morning. Because Tyson Fury has people fooled. I'm the best. I can beat everybody else. Hey, I beat that one guy that I feel that I'm promoting that can beat everybody else. So why should I fight everybody else? That's what Tyson Fury's doing. And a lot of people, casuals, or people that are just fooled, naive, believe that shit. You guys really believe that Tyson Fury can't get beat by any of these guys out there? James West, appreciate that $5 super chat in this piece. Appreciate you. What do you AJ doing different in the rematch? Or what do you see AJ doing different? Going to the body more, being more aggressive, trying to improve. That's why he's eating better foods, because he's trying to improve his strength and stamina. You want stamina, you better eat noodles and things that gives you energy, vegetables, okay? Things like that. Fury gets the grade A straight from the Vice City. What fight is the next for the winner? I don't know. Because see, my thing about Tyson, and I'm going to do a video on this, Tyson needs to do exactly what he needs to do to show people that he's retired, and he's not doing that. And I will explain that in a video actually today. Tell you what, Chisora nearly ended Usyk on a few occasions in the fight. That fight was closer than people make out. He came close to getting knocked out on a few occasions. Fair play or survived. Rocking modes watches. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That would be sure if did you see Usyk on Queer Street in any of that? If I didn't see that. Almost. What do you mean almost? Did he get rocked? Did he stumble? Did he stagger? Did he get, what did Usyk do to make you say that he was almost stopped a few times fighting Derek Chisora? That makes no fucking sense to me. I mean, I would want to know about that. But to be fair, I will watch that fight again to see, because maybe I might have missed something. I seen a guy that was smaller that takes punches from a bigger mauling fighter that didn't give a shit, but putting destruction on the smaller fighter. That's what I saw. I didn't see Usyk hang in there and get hit and rocked and, oh my God, I've got to survive or get dropped. Bars. I didn't see that. So rocking moods watches, I don't know what you're talking about. I have to go ahead and disagree with you there. Do you see AJ winning? If so, how? Catching him if he can catch Usyk with that right uppercut, left hook combination, and then follow through, I think he can get Usyk out of there. But it's going to have to be solid flush shots that AJ lands, and they have to be fresh. Because I don't see AJ wearing down Usyk like I see Usyk wearing down AJ, if that makes sense. I see Usyk weighing and wearing down AJ. I don't see AJ doing that to him unless he's able to go to the body that effectively to have Usyk worried about him going to the body, that he can set something up upstairs. You see what I mean? Straight right. Cut off the ring. Straight right to the body. He comes back. Straight left to the body. resets, back up, follow him around, cut the fucking ring off, keep jabbing, jab to the body, jab right hand to the body. Those type of things that has to happen if he wants to be successful in fighting Usyk, because Usyk's going to give you so many angles, so many dynamics. He's going to be setting traps for you. And then if Joshua does throw something and lands it and it doesn't hurt Usyk, Usyk comes back with 2 or 3 punches of his own. So you have to understand about that fight. Joshua was in there trying to worry about some shots, and he would hit him with a right, then he'd back, he would get hit with 2 lefts. It's like, okay, hey, you caught me with this right. Now you're going to take 2 of my shots because you hit me with 1. So I'm going to outpoint you based on your own activity. That's how Usyk does. Usyk knows how to win because he knows he's been in the amateur styles on the amateur side too long. He knows if he gets hit, he's going to have to come back with something to match that. And not only do you do that, you match it. You go above and beyond. That's how you do that. That's exactly what Oleksandr Usyk will do. That's what we saw him do. He did that with Chisora. He caught Chisora inside pockets. He got mauled, and Chisora was back. He was hit, and then Usyk stayed in there, but then you seen Usyk, in between those shots or when he finishes. Usyk then turns it up. That's what Usyk does. That's what he does. You can have an opinion on how a fight goes, but assuming how someone lives their personal life is a clown talk. Well, I'll tell you, Big A, it plays a factor. It plays a factor. When you're circling around the ring, when you're in round 9 or 10, those things that you did outside, that 40 you drank, that pint of beer that you consumed, that whiskey that you shot down your throat, and you knew you could have been asleep, those things come into a factor. Seriously. Usyk has never hurt against Del Boy. Was never hurt. No, Mark, I didn't see him hurt. Okay, super dope. If AJ can come up with a game plan to beat Usyk, is AJ in the #1 heavyweight? He should be, because there's nobody else that beat him. We don't even know if Wilder and Fury's coming back, so he would be #1 by default because there's nobody else left. But would that be so much out of the ordinary? Let's look at the facts. The facts is Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, they have been fighting twice as long as AJ has. AJ has been a pro for 7 years? Tyson Fury has been a pro for 16, 17? Wilder 15, 16? Wilder, his pro debut was in 2008, right? 18, 10 years is 22. Yeah, so 14 years. Tyson Fury was a pro before that, 16, 17 years. AJ's like 6 years or so, or 7, maybe 8. I could be wrong, but I'm just, because I know he went to the Olympics in 2012. 2012 is 10 years ago, so maybe it's 9 now. But that's still a lot more than that guy. Stephen Bateman, all I can see is the money. AJ Fury makes more money than Usyk Fury. Let's hope Usyk has morals. No, look, that has nothing. If those motherfuckers didn't fight last year, that fight is done. I don't care about the money because I ain't making any of it. Because it's like this. Yes, it's great for those guys that are already rich. Boxing is not fair. That's why it's a sport that I love, that I hate so much. Meaning it's give and take. Meaning fights you thought you were going to see, you don't see all the time. Corruption tries to make those fights happen anyway. Let me give you an example. You know, a fight that didn't ever supposed to happen is Cotto versus Canelo. That fight should have never happened. Why? Because Canelo was beaten by Lara. Anyway, that fight shouldn't have happened. And then the guy Austin Trout, see, Cotto was already beaten, upset by Austin Trout. That was the first sign. That fight didn't supposed to happen, but corruption made it happen. Because they were like, there's no way we're going to lose all this money because we need this Puerto Rican versus Mexican rivalry with Canelo and Cotto. And we're not going to let this fucking skinny, black-ass, slick Cuban mess this up. We're not going to do that. So I don't care what he does. That's why you have scorecards like 117 to 111. Why? Because the fix was in. We know damn well Canelo didn't win 9 rounds out of 3. You crazy? In that fight? Look, that fight shouldn't have happened. You know a fight that didn't happen that people wanted to happen? They wanted to see Oscar De La Hoya versus Terry Norris. That fight was going to happen. What happened? Upset. See, this is the rise of upsetters, and I love upsetters. I love like guys like Keith Mullins. Do you guys know who Keith Mullins is? Keith Mullins is the guy that stopped Oscar De La Hoya from fighting Terry Norris for millions of dollars. So I don't really care. Like when I hear, oh man, Usyk needs to step aside. No, Usyk doesn't need to step aside because Usyk did what he's supposed to do. Usyk has his own mission. He has his own desires and goals to be fulfilled. He doesn't have time for the bullshit out there. Like, I'm going to let these guys fight so they can make a bunch of money. I could give a shit about the money they can make, because if the guys have to go through me in order to make it, they ain't going to make it. That's just facts. See, Tyson Fury should have fought Anthony Joshua last year and vice versa. No, they were trying to be greedy because they were worried about the easy money that they could make against Wilder. That's why that bullshit was drug out so long from January, February, March, April, May, June, July. In July, all of a sudden, it wasn't in June or July, all of a sudden that Deontay Wilder won this arbitration. You know why that shit happened? Because they wanted it to happen. Because they wanted him, Tyson Fury, to fight Wilder. Why? Because Tyson Fury hadn't had a fight yet in 2021, and they needed him to fight twice. And he still didn't fight but once. But they were like, no, we're not going to have Tyson going in there and fighting AJ this one time and for this whole time. No, we're going to have him fighting Deontay because we beat Deontay. We don't know what Anthony Joshua is really about. We don't know if we can really beat Anthony Joshua that easily. So we're going to go with the guy that we've already beaten. That's easy. That's an easy logic. And then we get 60% out of 40% to do it. Okay, so not saying that Tyson Fury didn't have a mind to fight AJ. He just didn't have a mind to fight AJ last year because he knew, I'm going to fight Deontay Wilder. Why do you think he wasn't as pissed off? The next couple of days after they announced the arbitration, Tyson Fury was what? You want me to sign the dotted line? You want me to smash him to bits? Why would you? If I was that and I know I had $250 million on the line to fight this guy, I would tell him, fuck you, fuck this contract. You take 60% of this bullshit while I take 100 or 50% of this other shit that I know based on Prince Khalid has told me. Those guys got money over there. Those guys got money that they're tired of looking at. They got money to give away. Like my boy Sam B. Jones, shout out to him. They're giving it away. Okay? Michael Buffer coming in with that 2 pounds. Mad how Fury beats Wilder and he's the greatest. Not, dude, Michael, that's beyond me. That's beyond me. Like, that's the illusion. That's what people don't understand about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury beat Wilder. He beat him twice. But Wilder beat Ortiz twice. Ortiz beat no one. Okay? Up until that time, he beat no one. So Deontay Wilder made his whole resume off of one fucking guy. Okay? He drawed with Fury and he beat Luis Ortiz. You fought 2 people in 3 fights. Fury will come back for the AJ fight. Usyk Fury won't come back because he knows he can't even make the fight look like he wins. Well, I'll tell you, resume don't matter. Bivol schooled Canelo. Well, Bivol, though, to be like, who did Bivol beat? Bivol beat guys like Sullivan Barrera. If you want to say Sullivan Barrera's trash, okay. Well, that meant when Andre Ward fought Sullivan Barrera when he was undefeated. Okay, and that's like you saying, well, Kovalev's trash. Okay, well, Canelo and Andre Ward beat Kovalev, even though Andre Ward beat Kovalev when he was undisputed, when he was that killer crusher Kovalev. In my opinion, AJ only real chance is to press and try to get Usyk out of there. You got to knock him out. Stephen Bateman, Wilder is easy win, avoid his right hand. Easy win, he can't fight. Sorry to say that. Stephen Bateman. Well, look, I'll say this. That's better said than done. All Wilder has is a right hand. I'm not going to say that shit because this is what I'm saying. Not saying what you're saying is not true, but all he has is a right hand. Understand, you only have two fucking arms. You have two hands, two arms. And all I have to do is worry about one of them. Well, you still have to worry about 50% of that man knocking you the fuck out. And he was able to do that with everyone except Fury. And damn near did it to Fury. Why? Right hand. You see what I mean? So, like, for people saying that Wilder, oh man, he only has a right hand. Shit, it only takes one punch. This is the heavyweight division. Wilder got big balls. Oh, Fury not scared physically, but he's scared mentally. He didn't want to lose to a cruiserweight. Yeah, I mean, that's just too much. See, it's easier for Fury to say, fuck you, I'm out of boxing, than to fight and may win or may lose to a cruiserweight. That would be embarrassing. See, that means all the shit that he talked about Usyk would come back to haunt him. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that type of shit. Pull counter to you, Kurt. Glad you finally caught you live. Appreciate you, brother. Jaime Mugia is number 1 pound for pound. Dragon Leg, get the fuck out of here. Steven, AJ looked bulky and mentally tough looking in those eyes. Those anger in his eyes gives him a good chance. Well, shit, what about Usyk? Firm handshakes to all the G's in the chat. Contributing the flow of things and keeping it real and fun. Love you, mofos. Firm handshakes, counterpunch to you. He said, no homo. Stephen Bateman, 100. James West, blessed from the best. I believe all AJ has to do is to accept anything from Usyk, and AJ needs a boiling temper. Well, you still have to understand what you do. You can't. I don't think AJ's that dude to be just pissed off and win fights. Because I've seen him try to jump the gun, and I've seen that against Andy Ruiz. Press conference going on at the moment. One thing I'm sure about is AJ win easy. So easy it's going to be like Wilder, Brazil. Nah. I don't think that'll be the case. I don't think that'll be the case at all. AJ is a swinger. Usyk, okay? AJ needs to do a Dillian White and go all in regardless of outcome. If AJ loses, he should try bodybuilding. We would see, watch this space. Okay, it says AJ brought bodybuilding to pay-per-view. Well, damn. AJ brought bodybuilding to pay-per-view. Man, you guys are cold. You know, I think he did bulk up too much, though, especially when he went to America. I think he did the most when he came to America, looking all fucking like an action figure. If Usyk loses, folks will blame it on the conflict in Ukraine. Well, they could. You know, I think that shouldn't matter. I think what matters is if Usyk loses, I think it matters on what Usyk chooses to say or what Usyk projects. If he doesn't say that, it doesn't matter. If he says, hey, the better man won, okay, whatever. I just want to see AJ not gas out in less than 6. Stephen Bateman, thank you for that $2 A, whatever that A means. I don't know what currency that is, but I appreciate the donation. But I'm with you, Stephen. I just don't want him to gas out. You know, AJ likes being battered in both rings. If AJ beats Usyk, does that make a pound AJ pound for pound? It definitely takes Usyk off. I don't know how that really goes because that would be considered an upset though. So who knows? Would that make Andy Ruiz? I put Andy Ruiz number one though for beating AJ at heavyweight when he did it. Because I considered AJ the number one heavyweight before he lost. You know what I mean? Usyk doesn't need to babble on, just gets the job done. Yeah, I seen that like pragmatic, straight to the point G shit. You know what I mean? That's what I saw. Stephen Bateman. Hey. Okay, I think that's Australian. Cool. Appreciate you, Stephen. Andrew is clearly going short of attention. Kurt, I believe this one that AJ definitely beats Usyk. This fight will be an upset. Well, you know, I'm tempted to bet. I'm really tempted to bet on this fight. Them guys get a dumb, dude, the hell, right? Hey, Kurt, love your podcast and your derivatives of boxing performance. Derivatives of boxing performance. You have the feel about this AJ and Usyk fight. Who will be the winner? Patrick. I got it right last time. And then I got it right only because I thought that AJ would do something stupid, like try to outbox Usyk. I looked at it like this. I looked at both of them coming out victorious amateurly on the same year, 2012 Golden Olympians, and I thought about that, and I looked at that, and I seen the comparison, and I looked, and I looked, and I thought, and I was like, you know what? I think AJ is going to try to outbox Usyk, which will be dumb, and then he will lose. I got that right. The prediction was right. Not because I was just happy about it. I didn't give a shit. I just knew, like, you got to see things unbiasedly. And I like both guys. I think they're both respectable people in their own right. But I don't think that AJ was going to win that fight. Bars. Based on boxing ability, he was trying that boxing shit with someone that's been doing it a lot longer than him. That was just absurd. That was absurd. That wasn't going to happen. But this fight, you got Usyk, coming out of the Ukraine, all that shit over there, all those distractions, based on, he's supposed to lost 20 pounds. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But then again, that was like over a month and a half ago. So we don't know if that was true. I don't see why she would say that it's true and it's not. I don't see her making shit up. His wife, I do see Igas Klimas and Alexander Krosik. I see those guys making shit up, talking about the camp and all that. You know what I mean? They might have gave themselves away. They might have, but again, they may not have. Who knows? Did you know that throughout the first encounter, the right hand was practically on vacation? Second time won't happen. Remember what he says about the right hand at the end of the AJ versus Povetkin. Usyk wins the mind games. Usyk and Fury have unbeatable mental strength. Why does Fury's opinion change every interview he does? Because it's fucking Tyson Fury. Usyk and Fury has unbeatable mental, because they haven't been beaten Sammy Ali. I think that's the fair thing to say, and it's a convenient thing to say about Usyk and Fury because they haven't been beaten. So you can claim that flag that doesn't exist and wave it around, wave it in the air, and wave it like you just don't care all you want to. But, if they get beat, they no longer have that. that now, do they? Win the mind game, win the game. Usyk stoppage round 9 plus. Fury's playing mind games. AJ beating Usyk can't be an upset because Usyk is a very good fighter, and that can't make him a pound for pound fighter because his record has lots of blemishes already. Pound for pound goes to Fury, no settlement. Okay. Yeah. Sure, bud. Hell Kurt, one of the most critical boxing analysts today. Tachukwu Ambrose. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. If AJ can land his power punches, then he could win. Well, I mean, it's a puncher's chance. James West coming in, blessed by the best, coming in with that $3 sticker. Stop hating on Joshua because he is not a sloppy heavyweight. Let's just play the waiting game and see. Absolutely. Absolutely. AJ landed power punches in the first fight and didn't capitalize. So saying AJ just has to go in there and KO Usyk is one-dimensional thinking. Andrew, you're so right. I've been telling people that. He caught Usyk with like shots, straight rights, pow! Usyk went back and shit. And he made him bobble. Yeah, dude, it's a boxing match. And I think people have to, we're overlooking something that's very important. You got 2 golden Olympians in there. Okay, 2, not just one versus a fucking bronze or someone that didn't even make it to the Olympics. I'm talking about we have 2 elite fighters. You have AJ in there trying to outbox him, something that he should have just threw out the window. He should have used a little bit of his boxing knowledge to try to get shots off to knock out Usyk. Not, let me try to match this guy. Bat, bat. Try to look cute in there. That's not going to work. But understand, it's a skill. This was a chess match. This was a chess match that he lost. It was a chess match until it wasn't. Like the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, it was not. That was Usyk busting up AJ's face. We all talk about Usyk's face, but have we overlooked that fucking Joshua's face was fucked up too? The man was complaining that he couldn't see. He was saying that he couldn't see anything. He couldn't see anything after the 9th round. You guys remember that? What is that from? That from getting punched in the fucking face and the eyeball. Above the eye, below the eye, on the side of the eye. That's what it comes from. So we're looking at 2 elite fighters. That's what we're looking at. And people are saying, oh, AJ's overrated, a bum. We don't see those other cocksuckers doing it. We don't see those other guys fighting Usyk. Now he beats the shit out of Usyk. Okay, can we now praise Usyk and stop hating on Joshua for once? Because at least he was the first one, the pioneer, to take on this fucking guy. That all of a sudden now we're convinced that he is the best. I know he is one of the best. He's one of the best at heavyweights. At the heavyweight division. He beat Anthony Joshua. He took his fucking belts. If he defends it, he'll beat him. If Tyson Fury won some, he'll tax that ass too. That's how I feel about it. But I don't think Tyson is smart. I think Tyson is smart enough not to do that. Because he's not, he would rather say, look, I've already got those belts that Usyk has. I got them from Klitschko a long time ago. Why should I come back and get them? So in his mind, that's just risk versus reward. Because he ain't going to go in there and fucking with Usyk. And especially Usyk go in there and beat him. Okay? That'll take all his bragging rights away. Tyson Fury, that means the big 3, like Lennox Lewis said. Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. All of those guys have been beaten. Tyson Fury wants to stay ahead of that. He doesn't want to be that third one. He doesn't want to be that third in a row that's been beaten by somebody else. AJ has no class, won't beat Usyk with AJ's glass chin. Stay humble. If he had a glass chin, he would have been knocked out. Stop it. Kurt with the real talk. Y'all embrace it. Suck it up. Hell, like the video even. I know, right? DJ EMO. Counterpunch, or is it emo? Counterpunch to you. People are so jealous of AJ. Well, there's the thing about AJ. You see how many people that hate AJ because AJ is so successful. And I know half of these guys are probably Wilder fans or Fury fans or whatever fans, but they're not AJ fans. And then what happens, this is what really makes people mad about AJ. AJ takes an L. He gets his ass whooped, and he ends up getting more money than he made when he got his ass whooped. That enrages a lot of people. Think about when he got beat by Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, when he got beat by everybody, like people that thought they were AJ fans. We've seen the fake AJ fans. We've seen the guys that, you know what? I don't think AJ, man, he got beat by a fat ass dude like that. He ain't no good. You know what I mean? They start talking that Bob Arum shit. He's a bum. He can't win. He was just overhyped. Eddie Hearn's puppet. Shit like that. But he fights him on the rematch. He gets 85 million. And then you had guys like my boy Blue Blood Sports TV back at y'all with another one. So Anthony Joshua really didn't make 85 million. So when you take out the taxes and then the fees that Eddie Hearn placed upon him, then you got to pay your team. He ain't leaving with 85 million. I'm like, okay, you're just breaking down the standard protocol of every fucking boxer that ever stepped into the ring. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like, okay, he probably got 50 million after paying off everybody. But he had to make 85 in order to pay out who he owed. Crazy. People hated that, man. Tyson Fury is a made-up champion. Stephen Bateman. I'm not going to say that. No. I say he is a one-hit wonder that happened twice. That's what I say. I mean, and when I say twice, I mean with two different people. Tyson was able to beat Wilder, but then what's the significance of beating Wilder? You guys remember that we did not want to see this trilogy fight? I thought the trilogy fight was fair to Wilder because he had a contractual obligation. But who wanted to see Deontay Wilder take on Tyson Fury? The only thing we remember now is how good the fight was. But it was so good because it was surprising. It was so surprising because nobody wanted to see it. We already seen Wilder get beat the fuck up in 2020 back in February. We already saw that shit. That shit was over 2 years ago. We saw him get beat up and stopped. And they were right because he was bleeding from every fucking where. He would have got beat up, probably would have been hurt worse than that. And everybody blamed the gloves and the referee and the drunk referee and the crab in the barrel referee and, all this type of shit. The drunken water and all that. All this stuff happened. That at least made it interesting, to be fair. But who wanted to see Tyson beat up Wilder again? Who wanted to see that? Because we were convinced. I was like, damn, Tyson did that. But he did that. Let's move on. And then people need to understand, look, we are nowhere near undisputed now. Nowhere closer than we are now than we were then. See, undisputed for heavyweights. Look, we've got Canelo just went to the fucking super middleweight and just took all those belts. He did that shit in 2021. He did that shit last year, where we can't even see a heavyweight fight because you got these fighters that want to rematch and then rematch and then rematch and all that dumb shit. Uncle, sisters, nieces, nephew. AJ is going to win. Andrew, no, Fury ducked AJ. He didn't duck AJ. He did, but he didn't. What he did, this is what Tyson Fury did. Did he duck AJ from the time he's supposed to fight him? Yes. But was he running from AJ? No. He wanted to put AJ on ice so they can utilize making that Wilder money, milking that shit, because that's Tyson Fury's best accomplishment since he's came back to the sport of boxing. Okay? That's his best accomplishment. So, since it's his best accomplishment, they wanted to milk that. They milked it and they said, look, when AJ beats little Usyk, because Usyk's too small, we're going to fight, we're going to bring it together, and we're going to fight in April of 2022. If AJ would have beat Usyk, we'd have been looking at a super fight. Tyson Fury and AJ would have received $250 million apiece, $500 million at least. We never saw the best White against Fury. We saw White try to outbox the boxer once again. Look, Sami Ali, let's stop. He wasn't going to beat Fury. He wasn't fast enough. His reflex, I don't care what game plan. He is not fast enough. He was not fast enough. His reflexes, his game plan sucked. But I don't think that he would have done any better. I think that Dillian White was Dillian White and Tyson Fury was Tyson Fury. And they got in the ring and we seen who was better. That's it. That's it. I'm not like Dillian White. No. Look, Tyson Fury did that shit. Fury only comes back if AJ wins. It's simple. That's surely the only thing that gets Fury into the ring. Stephen Bateman, Tyson Fury equals WWE. Never been so sure of something. Kurt, people saying Usyk was going to KO AJ with 15 seconds on the clock, but he had Hunter in the worst position at 140 in the 12th and didn't KO him. Miles Crouch Anderson. Good counterpunch. However, Miles, I'll say this. That fight should have been stopped. And it was a good fight, Miles. Usyk fighting Michael Hunter was a very good fight. Michael Hunter had his spots in there. Michael Hunter's a good boxer, bro. If people don't think Mike Hunter can't box, you're tripping. Is he popular? No. Did he make mistakes in his career? I think so. But that doesn't take away his ability. He's a good boxer. And Michael Hunter is a kind of guy, I'd love to see him in there with Frank Sanchez, Philip Hergovic. He should have took that damn fight. I don't care what nobody says. He should have took that fight. Now the fight has been postponed with Huey Fury with him, so we have that. However, listen, the way Usyk was beating up Michael Hunter, they should have stopped that fight. That fight was, but again, it's up to the referee and it's the referee's discretion. But he should have fought. You definitely should have done that. Definitely. Did you see AJ stare down? Austin, I did. I seen AJ and Usyk stare down. I did. And I think Usyk won that stare down because he was he wasn't going to stop that. And that's a mental thing. Usyk already was like, look, I'm going to look at AJ and I'm going to stare at this motherfucker. I'm going to stare at him. I'm going to stare at him. Even when he did this, he never took his eyes off AJ. I'm going to stare at AJ until AJ breaks. And AJ broke. He broke. AJ was like, fuck this. Look, I'm going to do this. Let me, But he did that. Usyk did that because Usyk, that's mental warfare. No doubt about it, people. It's mental warfare. Oleksandr Usyk knew, I'm going to watch him, looking him dead in his eyes, see the mirrors of his soul, and I'm going to inflict my fierce gaze and show him that I am the champion. I'm going to show him that I mean business, and I'm going to try my best to stop this big motherfucker. That's what he was thinking. I don't know what AJ was thinking. I think AJ was just there, but AJ had his own storm going. He had two storms. Usyk storm, Ukraine, Russia, all this shit. AJ, you took my fucking belts. I want them back. You stopped me from fighting Fury. 3-time world champion. Those were the two storms. That's how they were going, like this. Right? Those were the two storms. Just like that. Just like that, people. And understand something. AJ, he wants those belts back. He talks about simplicity and shit like that. But dude, his elimination, his coach selection was crazy. He went from Ronnie Shields, Virgil Hunter, Robert Garcia, which we didn't even know that Robert was even uh, the guy. Um, who else? Jonathan Banks. There was a lot of people that he, had in, and he trained with a lot of these. It was basically like a coach audition. AJ had a coach audition for these trainers. He was like, look, let me see what you're gonna do. Let me see what you're gonna do. Let me see what you got to offer. Let me see. Let me get in the ring with you. Let me wrap up. He did that. He was down there in Houston. I want to see White versus Dubois. Who you got, Kurt? Ooh, man, that's a good fight, Dragon Leg. Counterpunch to you. Um, I don't know. Because I think here's the thing. The momentum is going with Danny Dubois, but that doesn't mean Danny Dubois can't get knocked the fuck out by Dillian. Because see, Dillian is a guy. This ain't no Tyson Fury. See, Dillian will knock out Danny Dubois with a left hook. Why? Because Danny Dubois will be coming in there, with that European Frank Bruno like ass style. And see, understand, Dillian White was able to catch AJ, even though that was a long time ago. That was a different Dillian White. But this Dillian White, I think, he has the muscle mass. I think Dillian White will knock out Daniel Dubois. I think he'll upset him. And Daniel Dubois wants that type of shit because he wants that for his resume. You got AJ, you got Tyson Fury, you have Oleksandr Povetkin, and then if Daniel Dubois comes in and finishes the show, he will be a guy that's been celebrated with these other guys that are top shit. Povetkin's retired, rightfully so. Tyson Fury claims he's retired, rightfully so. You have Anthony Joshua, then you have him. Anthony Joshua, former two-time unified world champion, superstar boxer. So, yeah, if I'm Danny Dubois, that's a risky fight because he could fight someone else. But, I think, someone like Dillian White's dangerous because he'll end up stopping this kid. Mm-hmm. Especially if he catches Dubois with something early. It's been a long time since I've seen Usyk so serious at a stare down. Normally, he's the first to laugh or try to break away. Yeah, but that's a totally different guy. So that's a very good question. Very good statement. Honestly, thought Dillian would beat Fury. I even lost money on it. I thought that the awkwardness, based on the history, that he would beat Fury. But here's the thing: I was wrong too. But I ain't put no money on that shit. I wasn't that crazy. I could see Tyson Fury. You bet against me, Kurt DeVille. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you, lad. The thing about AJ, he learns, and he knows what he's did wrong. I think AJ wins within 5 rounds going to his opponent, his old aggressive style, and knocks Usyk out. I think Usyk, you talk about a guy that's never been down, because the knockdown he's had was very debatable. I want to see Fury versus Ruiz. I don't. I see Fury playing with Ruiz. Ruiz is done, bro. He's on the redemption list. Oh, and I got to add that and update that too. So stay tuned for the new installments and the new entries of the infamous redemption list. It's coming soon, people. Okay. Even Wilder beats AJ. Even Wilder. Let's stop that shit. Even Wilder beats AJ. See, Bon, are you a Tyson Fury fan? And if you are, you can't say even Wilder beats AJ if you're going to praise Tyson Fury for the only person to beat Deontay Wilder. That's dumb as shit. AJ scared to fight Wilder. Okay. He has his own problems. He has Usyk. I watched the first fight. Usyk's greatest weapon is his movement. Now, he can move. The man can move, people. Both men are serious. Yeah, they were. They were very serious, definitely. Usyk's not knocking Joshua out. Okay. The fact that Areola dropped Ruiz like that, I think he's a meal for Fury, White, and Wilder. Yeah, I'd say that. Usyk got them lifelong toes in the game. Bond with the hating. Yeah. Prince Nassim. White versus Wilder. Let's get it. I go for that fight. But I mean, I don't even know if Wilder would want that fight. He'll probably look, I knocked out Tyson Fury and they want to still throw him in there. He's a peasant. He's still a peasant. He could never be a king like I was. So he don't need to fight me. I need somebody better. Yeah, I have to say Wilder don't have much, but don't get hit. Dragon leg 100. Wilder is still the hardest natural hitter in the heavyweight division. I mean, if as far as punch to punch fight from right hand to right hand, AJ got corner him. He has to corner him and stalk him. He has 6 rounds to win, blast him out. Don't want to hear McCracken say, box him, Josh. I know, right? Brilliant, AJ. Brilliant. Why can't Derek, our top level gatekeeper, fight Areola for world's best gatekeeper? I would like to see that. That's if Chris Areola is still fighting. He's 40 years old, man. Wilder is the hardest hitter based on what? I am very feel AJ will stop Usyk. Ooh. AJ beats Wilder easy. I see fear in AJ's eyes. Fury's retired to duck Usyk because AJ never beat Usyk. AJ wins 6 rounds. If Wilder hasn't learned a thing or two from the trilogy with Fury, he is done. His fight will be interesting to see. Each fight he had with Fury has a lesson or 5. Usyk has crip walk footwork. AJ has no chance. Not crip like footwork. That was funny. Joshua likes to run around the ring these days. Yo, Kurt, Fury versus AJ. What happens in a bit of detail? I don't know, man. Because Joshua's better at fighting taller fighters. I think Tyson Fury is too. And I think that fight wouldn't go like people think would go. I like to see Blue Blood versus Kurt DeVille. I like to see Kurt DeVille versus Boxing Ego. Yo, Kurt, Fury versus AJ. What happens in a bit of detail? I'd like to see. Okay, do you think there will be a trilogy? No, I don't think so. And that's one thing about Joshua. If Joshua beats Usyk, he ain't fighting Usyk again. He's going to be worried about mandatories. He's going to be, he'll fight Joe Joyce or Daniel Dubois or on the WBA, Joe Joyce on the WBC or WBON. Nah, I don't see that happening. I like that too. Luis Ortiz to beat Fury. That would be cool. I'm getting bored with the heavyweight division, to be honest. There just isn't excitement there anymore. Nobody's fighting each other. If you got 2 guys that fought each other that had one of the best fights of last year that just ignited the heavyweight division and both of those motherfuckers retire, what are we really looking at? We're just looking at everyone else. It's like a big hole in the heavyweight division right now. A big hole. Dubois is too active and in too much shape to lose to White. White's energy levels appear to have faded. I don't see White beating Dubois at this point in White's career. Counterpunch. I want to see Eddie Hearn versus Leonard Ellerbe. Kurt, will you pay for that? Yeah, I would look at it. Leonard Ellerbe gets to him, he's gonna knock out Eddie. But I don't see Eddie just letting him do that. Eddie's like fucking 6'5". That motherfucker 6'5" with about 76-inch reach. If AJ wins, he ain't fighting no more mandatories. He's going to fight for the undisputed. That's what I would do if I was AJ. That's if he can. That's it. Where would the belts be? Who will have the other belt? Who will he be fighting? I'm betting on Usyk. Oh, man. Listen, guys, this was great. I have a lot of work to do. Thank you guys for coming along. hundreds of you, thousands of you for dropping by. Hit that like button. Of course, God bless. Please subscribe. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.